The one thing that I refuse to have is people made a fool out of, used or misused. Now, with that being said, Sister Tollfree,
what did I do?
when you look at our political season is very large right now. Nationwide, the political season from Republican Party, Democratic Party, they need us. Each side needs us. But here's the main thing. It comes to numbers right now. What's the number, Sister Tollfree, that each political party is spending to get in that White House seat? And make sure you use your loud voice.
I got it on a piece of paper here. I don't know when I got it. Somebody gave during the Republican convention, and I was in the AM looking. I did not march with them. I marched with somebody else on a Monday. This was on a Sunday a rally, quote, rally and march, 4 p.m. Sunday, July 17th. He's 36 in Euclid. I marched the next day with some other people. It was that Monday. And I started reading this, Build People's Resistance. And I started hearing from Councilman Martin that their powers that be want to come in here and that one of the poorest cities in Ohio, one of the poorest cities maybe in the United States, and they want us to volunteer. Now there are some people who can afford to volunteer. But Democratic Party, Republican Party, don't come into my community, tell young people and other people you can volunteer when you come into the poor city. Now where they got the information from, I don't know. Under Build People's Resistance, I'll read the whole paragraph. Quote, whichever party wins, the super rich remain in power. Now both capitalist parties are torn by contradictions. Yet each party plans to spend $1.5 billion for campaigns that hide the truth of our dying cities, poisoned water, mass incarceration, low wages, raids on immigrants, climate change, and police terror. Both parties are committed to expanding NATO, aid to Israel, spending trillions on endless wars, and bailing out the banks, unquote.
What was the number again?
1.5 billion, both parties. And then when you talk about advertising, they seem to have a problem with advertising with black folks like we don't exist, but they want our money. And that includes both parties. It don't seem they come to the black community until they need us for something, like issue 5. As I've said a few times in East Cleveland City Council, don't take my money for granted, don't take my vote for granted, don't take me for granted. We have somebody mentioned, some of the biggest hospitals in the world, world-class hospitals, but I understand it's something like 3 or 4 to 1 that black children die before the age of 1.
Come on now.
That means that something is wrong within the community.
Right.
You are neglecting the families, you are neglecting, and you're doing whatever the devil you're doing. Corporations out here make billions of dollars. I won't call their names, but a certain drugstore right here in East Cleveland, I've asked a couple of times to come in because they're franchised. That drugstore, according to NPR radio a few months ago, it could have been last year, I can't remember, said they was buying Rite Aid for $9 billion cash. Well, it's a miracle how my potato chips can do all that. But the bottom line, and the black community spends about over $1 trillion, and we only do about 2%. Something was wrong with that when we blow up in Milwaukee in there. They said what's wrong. But see, you're seeing the end of the problem, not the beginning. What about the health care, jobs, access to decent education? We just had a state man be thrown out of the state thing because he was helping the private schools tell lies about who they were educating. The state needs to look in there. We need a whole lot of help, not only in this community. And as I've said in other places, federal government, The ball's in your court. You can keep messing around and you look like the 1960s. Thank you.
Thank you. So out of all of that was said, which makes a lot of sense, go back to that 1.5 billion that both parties are spending. And I refuse to sit here and advocate anybody just doing free volunteer work. We have to lean on any party that's coming through here to spend money as a trickle-down theory. Don't just tell us that you need to volunteer, because there are a lot of people living in poverty at all ages. At all ages. So I need for us to start standing strong. When you see these offices open up right around your corner, and they talk about volunteer work, you can open up the door and let them see some of the people who are living in poverty, some of the young people, some of the people at any age who would love to be paid to pass out flyers for major parties. So that's all I wanted to do, is point out the number of 1.5 billion, because we deserve it.